Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to solve this problem with using a system, all right? Or we're going to solve the system. Whenever we have more than one equation, what we have is a system, all right? So what we want to do is we want to solve the system by graphing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember when we're thinking about solving, remember when I said solve the equation, we usually want to solve for what the variable was in the equation. Well, when you have solving a system, we notice we have two variables. Therefore, my answer, we're going to want to find the value for two different variables, all right? So the first thing is we need to graph x equals 1. And this is one of the harder equations for students to really understand how to graph. And the best way I can really explain how to graph x equals 1 is to create a table. So remember, guys, when we chose a table, a lot of times when I tell you, to pick a table, I just say, hey, pick whatever value for x you want and then find the value for y, right? You find your value for x, and then you plug it in. Well, if I said x equals 1, what is my value of x always going to be? 1, right? So I can't even pick another value for 1 because x always equals 1. Well then, if x always equals 1, no matter what value for my y is, it doesn't really matter because x is always going to equal 1. So what I can do is I can simply just pick any numbers I want for y. I can just do -2, 0, 4, 1/2, -8, 10. It doesn't matter what value I have for y, x always equals 1. So what this graph is going to look like, if I was just to simply graph this, x equals 1 is right here, right? That's where x equals 1? Yeah. So my values for y, it doesn't matter what my y value is. It's always just going to be on that vertical line. Okay? So it's a little bit difficult, and this one's a little bit harder to look at like slope-intercept because here you're going to have a slope that's undefined. All right? This slope is actually undefined when we look at it. But it's a vertical slope, and that's what you have. Whenever you have an x equals, you're going to have a vertical line. All right? And the simplest way to do this, guys, is just set your x equals, and then it doesn't matter what your y's are. They're always going to give you, no matter what your y value is, your x is always going to equal 1. Now we have another equation where we have an x and a y on the same side. So I asked you, who would like me to solve this with slope-intercept form?
Me.
No, me.
Okay. What about how about the y and x intercept form? Anybody? Nobody wants to solve it that way?
No, me.
One? Just one?
All
right, 2. All right, well, I'll show it then slope-intercept form for those of you that are actually looking for a way to remember. Ladies and gentlemen, if I want to put something in y equals mx plus b form, one thing, guys, if you remember that I told you guys to do, remember, if I want to solve for y, right, one thing I can tell you about is like circle that y. What I want to do is I want to isolate that y. I want to get that y by itself. I don't want anything else on that side. So right now I have a positive 2x that's on the same side as y, right? So to get rid of that positive 2x, Amanda, what I need to do is subtract the negative 2x. So therefore now I obtain y equals 4 minus 2x. Now it's still not in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to rewrite that. Y equals negative 2x plus 4. Okay? To graph that, remember 4 is your y-intercept, and negative 2, let's put that over 1, is your slope. So what I'll do is I'll go up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll make a dot. Because you always want to make a dot at your y-intercept. So you go to 4, and you go up and make a dot. Then you need to follow your slope. Remember, negative 2 over 1, since that negative 2, that's going to tell me to go down 2, and to the right 1. I'm going to the right because this is positive, and I'm going down because this is a negative 2. Remember, you also could switch them. It could be up 2 to the left 1, but I'm not going to get into that for this video. So all I need to do is if I go down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. Then, remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to find the solution, right? The solution is where they're going to intersect. So what we need to do is determine what is this point that these 2 points where they intersect at. And we just go ahead and find our coordinates. So it's going to be over 1, up 2. where x is your 1 and y is your 2. Put that around that way, please. Thank you. So therefore, the solution to this system is 1, 2. We now have a value for our x and a value for our y, which is going to satisfy our solution, or our system, right? Because we have 2 unknowns, an x and a y, and we just found a value for both. Does that make sense? You ready?
Yes, it does.
That's all you got to do. All you got to do.